and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons and critically fumble a lot. Previously, we had mostly fluff previously because we were missing a couple of people owing to public holidays and stuff like that. This is what happens when your session falls on 4th of July. Remind me during break to have a look at the Christmas bit, the point around Christmas, because I know we're nowhere near there yet, but since we play every 2 weeks, it's closer than we think. And I want to try to at least have some preliminary plans in my head so that I'm not looking at the barrel of it like 2 weeks later on. I have enough stress during the Christmas holidays because I have to visit my fucking parents. Anyway, but yes, there was mostly fluff of the running around Egref variety. The two that we were missing, and wonderful to have you back, by the way. First, Seth went to the local Temple of the Four Elements and learned some things, i.e., we finally got our schedules to sync up enough to do level ups. Well, it's hard when there's busy, pain, hyperfocus, and time zones. I understand. It's fine. Meanwhile, Clarity, who needed a little bit of personal space because of an ancient brass dragon propositioning her girlfriend, went just wandering around the city looking for books and sleight of hand things, and wound up in Puzzled, which was the local toy store, which is all puzzles and word games and all that kind of thing. And it's probably wound up there until dinner time, right? Barnabas went touring basically every sweet shop he could find in Egref, including the local jelly bean store / factory, and actually submitted a flavor that they had not heard of. For those of you who were not there, cola and red wine. I'm not forgetting that in a hurry, but they because it wasn't already on their list, they put it in the list, so it will eventually be made. Hazel had been let in on the fact that the local academy did sort of impromptu cookery conclaves so that the kids living there could learn how to cook for themselves, especially when they went out. That's the thing. Egref likes to make sure that their individuals are prepared for life, no matter how weird and wonderful it may end up getting. So first thing Hazel did was try to find some ingredients to teach them how to cook a dish, and found an Egref grocery store, which think the food aisles at like Walmart. Everything from breakfast cereals to Pop-Tarts to sort of a variation on Hot Pockets, and she also bought a magical rune operated toaster. She may have splurged a bit.
Just a bit.
And then went and learned how to make effectively burritos, enchiladas, and that kind of thing from the students. A little bit anyway, because there's only so much you can do when it's that many kids showing things. But don't worry, Alisaie has a workaround for that one, because that sort of came up. Ava, meanwhile, went to lavish some attention on adventure orphaned cats and dogs, and enjoyed that for a little while, and then went to see her ballistics expert friend, as it were, Belladonna, off in the residential district, and bought herself a rifle. It's basically modified bad news, made a little easier because I really don't want to deal with some of the complications. I've added that to your character sheet, by the way, and it is called To Whom It May Concern. Darvin, meanwhile, got himself a shield, which, actually, to be fair, Antheus and Lindira did not see that, so if you want to show them the emblem that you had put on the shield, but basically, Cupcake Coterie, ride or die, with frosting. This was literally hammered onto his shield in a rather fascinating way. I did get the video up this afternoon, by the way, so it's there if you want it. So, but that got onto his shield, and then he went, and I quote, to find the most bereft, lonesome, and sad-looking dog in the orphaned by adventure shelter he could find, and just lavished attention on this critter. Brief overview of what Alisaie and Remy got up to after Remy had a bit of a consult with Ziriel about why the wings, and basically found out stuff that she'll either tell you or she won't. I really can't be bothered with that. And some various other bits of conversation. Followed by, after lunch, and dealing with the Arakocra tailor, who got actually a whole conclave of people, including that lovely, if somewhat pushy, halfling at Coeur d'Alliance, because the problem is the fastenings on your average bra come right about where wings are. So she's apparently designed a way to get the support of a decent brassiere into the shirt itself without it necessarily having to be skin tight. So that took a while. They weren't there for most of that. They did hair accessories. They also went to the bookstore and found some various interesting bits and pieces, and then went to basically literally put Remy in a puppy pile, which did in fact happen with very much over dramatized. Just there's too many of them. Tell my wife I love her. They made sure that a whole lot of those puppies got their forever homes, because kids were watching from a sort of observation room through sort of glass. So when Remy got overwhelmed by puppies, it really was, oh no, we need reinforcements to stem the tide. The Cupcake Coterie calls for aid. And so in came the kids to the reinforcements, and they apparently a lot of them wound up adopting puppies, and then these two just rode the trolleys in sort of an impromptu and unofficial tour of the city until such time as dinner. I'm going to say that we arranged for them to meet up somewhere, because Remy's going to want to say goodbye to her parents before they go back anyway, so speak out, anyone who thinks they might have suggested someplace to have dinner. Or food type or something.
Where have they already been?
Harley Surf and Turf twice, but they do love that place. Broggen's Big Eats and the Spearfisher's Revenge, big meat and big seafood, respectively. The Farmer in the Dale, obviously, but they literally just had the reception there. Hot Pot, the unduly spicy bits and pieces. Let's have a look and see if I can find what other.
I know that one person has been to Broggen's Big Eats. I don't know if the rest of us have.
No, everybody went to Broggen's Big Eats. Let's see, what do we have? Yeah, no, you went. That's more. Yes, and you went to the Battery, which is the place with the crepes. One place you haven't gone is Wave Walkers, which is effectively a sushi bar. And I mean, Darvin will remember you guys did try sushi. I mean, you went to the place and because Torin suggested it and just said, let them know I sent you, and he got a sampler on the house kind of thing. So if anybody was going to recommend sushi, it would be Darvin's. So everybody will wind up meeting at Wave Walkers, which looks a lot like Toothsome in the setup, except for the fact that the various of the dividers and walls are fish tanks. Not the floor.
No.
Not the floor, not the ceiling, just bits of wall.
I had concerns.
There's a couple of reasons that we're laughing about this. One is because Mass Effect 3. The other is that I borrowed that for one of my characters' first dates with one of Smeagol's characters, and yeah, so yeah, that was
What happens when you bushwhack a Mandalorian in the same scenario?
A Mandalorian and an ex-Cypher, so yeah. Yes,
Got very dumb very quickly.
Yeah. You're outnumbered, yes, but I've had 5 minutes with a butter knife, a data spike, and a mouse droid. At which point, enter Mandalorian. Wham! Which means I win.
I love using him as a projectile. It's fun.
This explains a lot about Hazel, by the way. So anyway, yes, y'all meet up in place where it literally is windows and inside wall dividing fish tanks.
How outlandish are the fish here?
Depends on which fish tank you're looking at. Obviously, for the ones that are out in front on display, we're talking pure tropical fish tank and some rather small sharks. Actually, they want to keep it a proper biosphere, so they need ones to eat the less well ones.
I may slightly be hypnotized by any which one of the fish look like they're sun-colored, and also the sharks drifting by, like, what did the heck, like, sort of a, what the heck are those?
Darvin's just kind of standing there doing the Will Smith. Like, this is awesome!
As Hazel is watching the shark drift by, Alisaie steps up, taps her on the shoulder. Shark. You're not really au fait with sharks. You lived all your life in landlocked.
Shark.
Take a dragon, make it smaller, give it less breath weapon and less human intelligence and the ability to do magic, but combine that with immunity to poison, immunity to disease, and teeth that if they break, they just regenerate new ones.
No.
So, like a burrowing maw, but mobile.
Burrowing maws are mobile underground, but kind of like that, yeah.
That. Oh boy.
She actually gets Hazel
to
bend down and look at the actual mouth on the underside of the shark. See that?
Uh-huh.
You see the teeth? They're like manticore teeth. There's more rows going back, and they just keep growing new ones. Thing is, they don't have a lot of bite force in and of themselves. Not those kinds anyway. The ones that more feed on the ocean floor, they have enough bite force to crush a clamshell. But these ones, they don't have so much bite force. But what they have is head shake, lots of power in that, and rip. They're tasty as fuck, though.
Those teeth look like knives.
Yeah, spear points is probably closer, actually, and rummages around in belt pouch rather than haversack, and actually arrowheads probably pulls out a good sized shark's tooth. There's just the little bits of serrated edge, and see.
Yeah.
That's sharp.
Yeah, kind of has to be. They're ripping flesh out of big things.
Ugh.
Don't worry, they don't think humans are tasty. They won't eat you. They might kill you because they think you're something sick or injured, but they won't kill you. Well, they won't eat you. They won't deliberately hunt for you.
Oh, Okay.
And if
They'll-
if you're swimming right, they'll leave you alone. Problem is, most people can't swim right because we're colored like fish belly.
Mm.
and
I
we're
don't know
not.
I don't know if First Earth would be better at that or not, because shiny is kind of a problem. That's why they
I
tell you.
mean-
That's why they tell you don't wear jewelry if you're swimming in shark waters.
Let's not test that.
Good to know.
Yeah, don't drop our favorite dragonborn into ocean water. Good to know.
Should water fine to swim in. You just kind of gotta not flail, and besides, he could probably just freeze bits of water and run. For all I know, he could run on water.
Yes.
High speed mail.
Well, there you go.
Good point.
That's new. That's cool.
Come on, he runs fast enough that he's gonna. It's a natural philosophy thing. Don't make me try to explain it to you.
He very nearly outpaces these, and I sort of like bring a knee up to shake the boots before stepping.
Are we gonna like go in and eat and talk about what we do next? Or
Yes. Let's see.
Yes.
Yes, and again, it's your standard sushi bar kind of setup. But thankfully, the conveyors are long enough that you can all sit in a row, up to and including Corey and Amel, who were asked to join you there. And it's, hello all. We'll be brief. I understand that you probably have adventure planning to do, but we were at least going to say goodbye. So was your first day fun?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Good. And Alisaie just kind of rummages in the book bag, and Ree and I got you something, just as a thank you for stopping by, and pulls out 3 cookbooks. One is apparently recipes from Toothsome. One is one Hazel recognizes some of the names on the cover and the general image of the things the kids were trying to teach her to cook. And one is something called the Monster Menu. We got this. I think we're going to get more use out of my copy than you will out of yours, but it's recipes for less beast things and more monster aberration weirdness things. Like, apparently you can make a savory taffy out of roper gums.
Wait, what?
Yep. You sure can.
I am going to have so much fun with my copy.
Don't ever let me know that the taffy I'm eating is that stuff, please.
It's savory, so I think you'd know anyway, but...
Allow me my ignorance, please.
What happens if you like it?
I have very powerful ignorance.
I, however, would very much like to know.
I'll find a way to find a balance between those two things. Oh, by the way, Hazel, you and I are sharing this one, and pulls out a second copy of the Things in Flatbreads recipe book. But I figure you might want to hang on to it.
Thank you. Into the bag it goes. It's a good thing you found that, because well, I may have forgotten. Crates.
We'll talk about that when we're done saying our farewells to Corey and Amel, shall we? And Corey, sensing and window of opportunity, just glump hugs Alice. Thank you. We'll have so much fun with those. We did. Toothsome was absolutely fascinating, and I have to ask before we go our separate ways. Did any of you wind up going to see the play? We caught a matinee. I'm sure Remy and Alisaie will thank you very, very much for not going. It was. Amel is just. You probably don't want to know, do you, Remy?
Nope. Nope.
Well,
At least we now
hopefully.
know it's a disaster.
Oh, it's not that it's a disaster. It's that it's highly dramatic. Of the things that were being said were very much not in your voice, dear.
Well, I'm sure it's inspiring other people.
Hope not.
Wow, that says a lot in only what, 3 sentences?
She got her abilities to say much with little. She comes by that honestly. I'm sure that you all have various bits and pieces that you need to be getting on with, and Corey's just. I admit I'm a little bit iffy about raw fish, anyhow. So we'll leave you all to it, and hopefully you will drop by and woof, glomp hugs Remy. Hopefully you will drop by again when you're next in Belarus. Obviously, we'd love to see you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Be careful.
We will.
All right. I wasn't. Funnily enough, I wasn't going to go too far into that this time. You have somebody else to be overprotective at you now.
That is very true.
Gods be with you all. With this sort of it sort of go down the line of you sitting at the benches, and Corey at least just hug, and then off they go.
Your parents are really lovely.
I know.
But it's probably just as well to have a break now and then. More than now and then.
Family can be a lot.
Well, they're more chill now. Corey
That's
is more
true.
chill now.
Yeah, that's a nice change.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, how was everybody's day? By the way, the layout is the same as Toothsome's in one other thing, where you get the color-coded plates. So you just... Darvin, at the very least, knows what some of this stuff is, anyway. So it's mostly just watching bits of raw fish, sometimes on rice, sometimes in rice, and sometimes just on its own, cruise by, along with some warmer things, dumpling-looking things, and occasional bowl of noodles.
I'll point out the few things some of the things I recognize as they go by, just to let people know what's what.
They would probably try a little bit of everything.
Similarly, also trying a little bit of everything just for the sheer surprise me factor.
Watch the green stuff.
What's the green stuff?
Why?
It's a kind of horseradish.
It's good.
It's spicy.
And that's immediately getting like
You put it in that sauce to spice it up a bit.
Either that or just put a little bit on top of a piece.
I mean, I do that, but I wasn't going to recommend that for about half of you.
It just nudges her a bit of green wasabi to Hazel.
Actually, it's more that there's little pots of it up along the table, so you can doctor your soy sauce or do whatever you want with it. It's usually more the pickled ginger slices that go on top. Then you dip it in the wasabi sauce and then go from there. Anyway, so yes, while we're eating, how was everybody's day?
It was pretty good.
There is a very, very, very consoled canine out there, and I get this done. And he holds it up real quick. Just
Oh gosh.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Very you.
dude,
Ride or
you should
die
have seen
with
how they
Frosting.
put this on. It was a big hammer, and it was so cool.
So it's kind of like they did with that, what Hazel did with that ghast in that story that you were.
Yeah, less mess. Thank goodness.
Well, yeah, because you weren't putting it on anything squidgy. Yeah.
I got crates and crates and
Of
crates.
what?
Pulling out the book, flipping to the
Oh, the flatbread things.
and these, and also flipping over to pita breads as well.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I have like the entire next 2 months worth of it in here.
I'm glad those things don't go off very fast from what I was reading. Also reminding for Smeagol, you also got the Pop-Tarts, the Hot Pockets, the breakfast cereal, the cup noodles, and the toaster.
And then there was also producing the entire toaster.
What is that?
That is a toaster.
Because
What is
it away,
a toaster?
It toasts
pulling
things.
out the Pop-Tart,
Oh.
the box of Pop-Tarts.
I guess that makes sense, doesn't it?
It's like a little handheld pie.
Oh yeah, they're sweet ones. There's also some weirdly savory ones. There's like a zillion different kinds of these things. There was rows of them in the store, like a whole wall.
Okay?
I got one of everything.
Your bag of holding must be straining a bit by now.
Yeah, if I get any more like heavy things, probably is going to start spitting stuff back out.
Well, you're lucky. I
Let's
was
not.
actually considering getting a bag of holding of my own. It's not like I don't have the money. And given I'm collecting things, and might as well help carry her stuff too. So, okay. So maybe we'll give you some of the spill off if it's not stupid.
Hopefully, it'll be the ones that don't confuse taste buds.
I don't think that's going to confuse my taste buds. Barnabas, what about you?
I think I don't really want to have any more sweets for about 2 weeks. It was a good day.
2 whole weeks.
Wow.
Damn.
Give or take, but it was very much a good day.
Did you just tour everything that did sweets everywhere in the city?
That I could find. Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not literally floating right now.
I'm surprised he's not. I'm surprised he's not crashing through the floor if he's put that much sugar in him.
I was considering some of the experimental stuff in here.
Yeah, I think he probably avoided the experimental stuff. Otherwise, he'd probably be different colors or steam coming out of his ears, or worse. I don't know.
Well, considering I've had, looking at Hazel, ample examples of what happens if you're overly experimental. If I didn't recognize it, I didn't go for it. There was still more than enough.
Probably very sensible.
Clarity, what about you?
Well, I went to the bookstore. Surprise.
Must have missed you.
Probably. I can read a whole lot more now because language is not a barrier. So I managed to get a lot of different books from various languages.
That's neat.
And I went to this neat sort of joke shop, toy store sort of place.
You found
I-
puzzled. We meant to go there. Froseth, we meant to go there for things for your sister.
Yeah, and so I'm going to be learning magic. It's not real magic. It's
Sleight
and
of
then-
hand. Yeah.
yeah. And
Still magical-ish.
There's a difference between
I
magic
know.
and trickery.
True, I know. But
She's learning. She knows magic, and she keeps learning more magic, and now she's learning more trickery. Either way, neither of those words have any judgment attached to them, as far as I'm concerned. Whatever works.
fair.
Besides, it sounds like fun.
it is
Less
fun.
the arcane shenanigans and more
Trickery, I'm telling you.
shenanigans.
I know some of it and how to do things, but I need a little flair. I feel like
Flair is good, but particularly
Yeah.
when you're a patron. Oh, on the subject of games, if you haven't mentioned it, you probably missed that shelf, because I can't imagine they wouldn't have that there too. You know what I found in the damn bookshop? They have this dice game. They've codified our lives into a rule set. And so
Really
people can
weird.
go on like virtual adventures.
What?
fun at all.
I don't know. I'm sure it has the appeal of the fun bits of our lives, as well as the. I'm sure that fighting a dragon is a lot more fun when you're not actually going to die at the end of it. If it goes bad.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
That was a
it's-
bit painful, I guess.
one set me on fire and one killed me.
Hmm.
And the one
Weird.
that killed you, Clarity.
Well, yeah. Again, the nearly.
Yeah, the
Ah!
rest of us have had some
Ow.
interesting interactions with the more electrical variety.
Let's just say that I guess I can see it, but I also can't, because it's different when you actually need to do it or the world's going to end. But I just hope this doesn't mean that there's a whole bunch of people who think they actually understand our lives just because they played one sitting around a table eating snacks.
Oh boy, that would be bad.
How about you, Ava?
Well, I went to the same puppy and kitty place that Darwin went to, which was very nice. And then I got myself a new shiny.
You'll probably have to show us that when we're not in public.
Yeah, that's why I'm just sort of gesturing. and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Ree nearly got cuddle piled to death by puppies. We had to call in for reinforcements. There are a lot of puppies that are finding their new forever homes with a lot of kids when the Cupcake Coterie called for aid. One of them was trying to play with my wings. Another one decided that my hair would make a wonderful tug-of-war rope. Looked a lot like butterscotch, actually.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
And then a third one, well, one was tugging at my hair and one is trying to nip at my wings. A third one decided wanted to cuddle, went right behind my knees, and poof.
Oh.
So you also became a pile.
A little less of one than Bree, I think. I think she is far more appealing than I am, at least in that kind of circumstance. What about you, Froseth? How was your day? You finally got a day to yourself properly.
Let's just meditated, got in more in tune with both myself and the elements, figured out a few new things.
Always a good thing. We all have our ways of unwinding, I think, and yours is always probably going to be a bit more. But we do have to make sure that Clarity. You have to take him to Puzzle tomorrow, because he's going to want to get something for Faraday. Besides, we have to wait for the Arakocra to finish the job on my shirts. The problem we were having was brassiers. They actually had this whole little focus group of tailors from other places. The Arakocra to deal with the wings, and the others to help deal with the fact that my body shape is different than bird people body shape. Particularly the issue being, the brassiere, because ladies, you know where they fasten. Apparently there's a way they're figuring out to actually include that level of support into the shirt itself without it necessarily always having to be skin tight. So that's something, but it means that we're not going to be able to pick up everything until this afternoon. Ree got some really spiffy shit, though. We had a hard time finding the shop, and we found more for her initially than we did for me. Mostly because I couldn't wear most of it. The wings sort of... I can live vicariously through her.
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
And, I can enjoy the view. After that, and the puppy pile, we just rode around on the trolleys in a sort of a unofficial tour kind of capacity, because the side trip to Alzor High aside, we're going to be heading to some place with a lot of white and not a lot to look at that's not trying to kill you. So enjoy it while you can, guys.
Good point.
On that subject, I don't know what we want to do plans-wise, because, tomorrow we're probably going to have to speak to Calatiel, let him know that we're going to try to get Constance, let them know we're going to try to get Constance down here. And we can probably head out pretty much after I pick up my bits. That'll give the afternoon and evening to tell the girls what reintroduce the girls to my new wife, and let the shenanigans fall where they may on that front, and also give us the evening to have a chat with Constance and let her know what's going on, so she can get on a ship up here, and then just the next morning we can off to the north, because time's a factor. We needed this. I won't say we didn't, but time's a factor, and we gotta start moving on. We did have a bit of a chat about what happens when we do the task that Vievaled's going to leave for us at the border, and we get access to whatever bits of the Silver Vault we choose. We thought that maybe a divide and conquer kind of a situation would be a good one. Ava would probably be with me. We'd be looking at the more, in terms of dragons, just the more monstery versions of it. Just how do you kill it kind of situation, because I've already got access to that bit, so I can show you, where it is and how it's done. Barnabas and Darwin, histories, bardic tales, anything that will tell us, because this black sludge has come up before.
Mm-hmm.
You said that there were legends, but you didn't know very many of them. Look at where we're going. There's gonna be some stories about how somebody managed to, at the very least, tamp it down, or maybe tried, or I don't know. And honestly, if any one of us here is going to get a feel for how we proceed by looking at an old battlefield map or military dispatches or whatever, it's going to be Barnabas. And if anybody's going to pull information out of a bard song, it's going to be you. Hazel, Remy, Froseth, you each have your own religious training, etc. You've got a grounding in that already. We're not only dealing with evil gods, because there was talk reset about the chained oblivion, something like that. We need to know more about that and what other gods might be bubbling up with this crap, and more on Tiamat and what her goals are. That's probably more in Marie's, and at least in the case of Tiamat, Froseth's bailiwick. Hazel, you would be best at looking at the whole situation with Zavillan, what help the gods have provided, and the divine conclave, what help they've offered in the past, what they could do in the future, what we'd have to do to make that happen. Clarity, I know we've kind of left you alone, but you're probably more comfortable in a library than just about anyone. You'd be looking at the base arcane aspects of things. If nothing else, we need to know more about His Majesty of Chaos and Misrule, because we need to know how to get to him so we can get Barnabas back home, and cross-reference just with any of the stuff that these guys bring in terms of notes that need an arcane cross-reference. So, like, for the first day or so, you stick with the Archfey thing. You could probably look up your own patron at that point and compare notes with us at the end of every day and move on from there, so that we're covering everything and narrowing things down in our own various areas of focus until we get a selection of answers that at least give us some idea of how to proceed and what to do if our initial plan goes wrong. It's always good to have a plan B. That was our thought anyway. We had some other things about how to proceed after the Silver Vault, but let's do one step at a time. Does that sound like it works for everybody? Does anyone have anything they want to add to that, shift things around, or anything along those lines?
No. I could also, I'm just putting it out there so that people know, I mean, I can also translate for people if they find a particular book that they...
We can't take them out.
Well, no, but I mean, if they're looking at
You wouldn't be able to go in to where they are.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they could try to jot down notes or make some kind of copy. I'd have to ask about how far you can go with notes on that. Because I never actually tried to bring out whole sections of things. I think you're allowed to footnote, but not so much that. We'll have to ask about. It's a good point. You're right. I mean, I didn't wind up looking at anything that wasn't common or celestial. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or if they have a way around the issue. Possibly there's temporary things like the things that they have here that let you speak and understand Draconic and Sylvan for the Fairy Dragon Jamboree. They might have that. I don't know. It's a good thought, but there's the other problem. Please don't think I'm trying to put down your idea. It's just if they don't speak the language at all, how are they going to know that that's useful? So how could they copy down the thing that would be useful for you to translate? Unfortunately, there's a lot of rules around the Silver Vault just because of how powerful knowledge is.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure how it all worked, so yeah.
You open specific areas. There's the antechamber of stars, which is just very basic. You are here, random items of interest, and the scroll of heroes. It's everybody who gets to Demille from across the wastes gets access to that. Everything else you have to do a task to do. I mean, clarity, if it helps at all, I can, because I've already unlocked the bit that that I'm going to be helping Ava with. If we find what we're looking for and narrow it down pretty quickly, which I think it'll be pretty easy to do because dragons, frankly, we know what section to go to for dragons. I can unlock yours or any of yours who feel they might need some support. I can leave my choice open until one of you tells me you need support. The reason I turn to Clarity is only because she's the one who's alone. But I'll leave it unchosen until the first day, and we'll go on from there. But it's a good thought. When we get there, we'll ask about whether we can find some way of being able to translate.
Because, if I find something in Celestial, I can't read Celestial.
Yeah, but the thing is, you at least... Well, that's the thing. You can't read Celestial, but you don't know if it's going to matter anyway. I mean, the other thing is they might just have translations. And it's a really big place. You've got to imagine that they'll have... I found things in other languages. Obviously, I didn't have time to look at everything, even in the sections I was allowed. But I don't imagine that a place like that would leave it that you couldn't find something that you could read. If they have everything everyone's ever written, I imagine they have everyone's translations of same. There might be untranslated works in there, but why wouldn't someone who works there translate it too? We'll ask. Thank you. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, why store knowledge if that knowledge is inaccessible?
Sorry, Ava was starting to talk.
Oh, my bad.
Never mind. Probably a bit late to say that, but should we be making sure we can't be heard or scryed upon, that sort of thing?
Well, again, at this point, we're not saying anything that. To be fair, it's a good thought for the next step. When we discuss the step after that. But even then, we don't know how long we're going to be there, so we're not telling anyone anything. It's when we're dealing with solid plans, like exactly when we plan to be a place to do a thing. But the approximate order doesn't help them because they don't know if it's going to take us a day, a week, a month to be going through the Silver Vault. We're not talking about how long we're going to restrict ourselves to there. So they won't know when we're going to turn up. So speaking in generalities for now is good, particularly given that we've only got a limited window of use for that. And as for anyone else overhearing, fuck it, we're subject of story and song here anyway. Our thought next was actually the order in which we want to start up with the dragons, because even after we've done the research, the next thing we have to deal with is the dragons. And as much as I'd really like to go straight to dealing with the black dragon asshat, Bree sort of helped flag up that there's one good reason we can't. We can't storm a castle ourselves. We can sneak into one ourselves, and that's what we're going to have to do, but we're going to need a hell of a distraction. What's in Goldendale right now? Problem, though. Gray's Inn is being sat on by a white dragon. You know what white dragons do to their territories? It's he's going to be making the winter there really, really harsh. And it's going to spread. And given some of the trade routes, as far as I understand them, the mercenaries would have to march through a harder winter than they've already got to get there. If we take out the White Dragon first, not only can we clear out that winter so that the mercs on that side of that mountain range can go, means they can also clear out that train tunnel and start resupplying without having to ship everything on ships.
Mhm.
So we were thinking white. We hadn't decided between black or green after that, because on the one hand, the black would be closer, but on the other hand, the green, we're a little concerned about the green over in the Elven Wild.
And the green might then free up whomever can potentially help from the Elven Wilds. Because I know we had the experience with, but there were others, so.
Yeah, I mean, the order of that bit's a little more negotiable, and we'll have to have a think about that. We might have to wait to make that call for when we actually arrive in Baronsphere, because the only way we can get there at the moment that's not going to take the amount of time a ship does is via Hazel's Key. So we'll wind up right at Hearthhome and in the middle of what information there is. We don't know what we're going to find when we get there, but the best we can come up with at the moment is the white comes first, just so that we can get more support here.
Yep,
that
and
seems
probably another in on their plans if we find anything kept in ice blocks in there.
We also need to deal with that Draco Lich at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Still,
And
we
each
know
one of
there's
these
some
we
around
kill,
here.
we give it another body to jump to.
That actually brings up a thought. We need somebody looking up how to track down the phylactery of something like that.
We need more than that. Clarity, you're good with notes. Can you please take this down? There are these dragons. There are these chromatic dragons, and while we've been warned against killing them, they're not taking any really significant steps to try to take us off the board en masse the way they could be doing. Part of it's because we're here. But even when we were there, it was pretty specifically targeted. And that's more, not to give myself airs here, but if I died, would you be less likely to want to kill the dragons?
Yeah, that's a no.
Can you, if there's anything that has any suggestion that sacrificing Tiamat's children might do something we don't like?
Could be worth looking into, yeah.
Yeah.
So, just so I'm understanding this, we're wondering if going around and taking them off the board is going to cause something else to start spinning up in the background.
It's possible. We don't know enough. That's why we're asking.
Gotcha. Okay, now I just wanted to understand that was what we were asking,
Yeah.
not if there was some other question I'd whiffed on.
Yeah, no, it's... I mean, they'd be trying to flatten us harder. I can't help but feel.
We would have gotten... We got blindsided by the Abishai already. I'm surprised we haven't had, one every week.
Well, we can't
Well, that's
hear.
the point.
Well, the other point is we can't hear. The red dragon, the mutually assured destruction red dragon, was apparently, and shouldn't have happened. There's too many safeguards here. Just because of the 5 claws. At that point, she lowers her voice a little bit. So that, the people sitting further away probably couldn't quite hear, but they probably understand.
Gotcha.
But yeah, here we're as safe as we're gonna get. I don't think she had the resources to do that again, which is why she was so pissed off, as Furseth, I think, seemed to have suggested. But then again, also, you're right, Dracolich, body hopping, we need to find that phylactery. Very good point, thank you.
And
But again, I'm just worried about what happens if she should be trying to kill us harder.
Yeah. I just wonder what kind of ambushes we're gonna walk into when we go back home.
Well, we have to be a bit more prepared than we are before we even think about it. Darvin, you were saying?
there's also Cedar Grove to consider too.
Well, they would have been marching more or less through it, is the thing. Because apparently we heard something about some evacuations.
Well, I meant specifically Ava's.
Yeah. Well, for the time being, we're more or less okay with that because, Ava's here. Constance is here. The Baron of Gray's Inn is here. Black Crown, the only heart that could conceivably be tainted right now, technically Goldendale's, but he's surrounded by mercenaries, and for all we know, Torm's still there. So they literally cannot do to any of the other baronies. There's also Starcoast, I guess, but Francine probably would have hidden it fairly well by now. And the best part is, no one's going to look at her and think Baroness, not for a long time. Until things have settled down more, she's just going to be that lady at the inn.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing her, I wouldn't be at all surprised if she kept it that way in a lot of levels.
Oh,
Probably.
yeah.
It just
Probably
seems,
why-
she just seems to be happiest, and
And she runs things better that way. Yeah.
yeah.
Have a feeling that Starcoast is going to wind up this weird cross between like Belarus and Egref.
At which point Darwin just kind of snirks around a mouth of sushi, just like.
It's more the just about anything goes as long as you don't hurt people, and the trade hub. They're going to be, I think, once we start getting trade routes established, we need to introduce Francine to Calatel. Hazel. Thank you.
He's about to shove
Eat your sushi.
He was about to stuff a piece of tuna in her mouth.
Then she looks at Barnabas. Given that I think we've about covered everything we need to on the serious side, are you sure you don't have any room for sweets? Because they have some interesting stuff in a place like this. And Mochi goes by.
It's cold
That
and
that
good.
was
Some is ice cream mochi. Some is regular, just red bean paste mochi.
Oh, my bad.
my earlier statement may have been a slight exaggeration.
And there's also those pancake things filled with chocolate.
Ooh.
That's it. Alisaie watches one cruise by and then just yoinks and puts it in front of me.
Thank you.
There is
As I said,
one
you have
thing
never
I-
passed on chocolate a day in your life. Sorry, Aiden, go ahead.
No problem. There is one thing I would like to discuss at some point soonish, but that can wait a little bit.
Well,
We can sort of keep
give us a quick overview. I mean, we're a bit more in business mode right now anyway, and it'll at least give us time to think it over if we need to.
Oh, screw it. Well, there's the. We all know I'm not the most comfortable with fire. And we've seen her use elemental magic. not yet fire, as far as I remember. But if she ever, she might know, I don't know, about mine.
Oh, she does.
So I would like, if anyone has any ideas, a way to conquer that, or at least make it not a problem, because if she uses that against me in the middle of a fight, I do not want to be a liability like that.
I understand. Funnily enough, this means that you can accompany Ree on something. Because, Ree, you want to tell them what Scale Splitter does now?
Yes, I found out when I killed that last dragon, the Scale Splitter awoken a bit more, and Forge Cleric told me that it can defend against the elemental magics that dragons use, or at least one at a time.
Yeah.
We did
we
test
were,
just how effectively now.
and also whether it's all elemental magic of that type or if it has to come from dragons. But what we were going to do was, I mean, this is Egref, they have to have testing of that type, which means that we don't have to throw variable spells at Ree, which, as I understand it, is what the Forge Cleric suggested, and I went, this is Egref, no. So maybe if you went with Ree for that kind of testing, they might have a way to expose you to that more without actually hurting you. Which might help, and particularly if you're wearing the fire resistance armor. Speaking of, it did occur to me that with so many of you in armor that is elemental resistance and very important to be wearing the white clothes is more or less a waste of time. We're just going to have to wrap you up in Anbuck furs and hope for the best. Because I can't see Clarity without the poison resistance, or Ava without the fire resistance, and Ree without the various resistances that her armor grants her. And if they're going to be brightly colored anyway, more of us dressed in white's not going to make any difference. Besides, you'll be in and among the pack. They'll to let you know, you will be honorary pack for the duration of our voyage. Ree is pretty much automatically pack, and technically so is Ava and Barnabas. Only because I've kind of adopted you. That's what Reden means, chosen brother of my heart. You, what you did!
You'd have done the same for me.
Yeah, but that's doesn't matter. The fact is, you did it for me, for us. That. Besides, anyway. And Perseth, honestly, they'll probably adopt you straight off anyway. They would like you. Don't know how I feel about the rest of you, but for the duration of our time, with them, you will all be pack for that time. Just to let you know, we do not have to really worry about supplies beyond bringing fruits and vegetables, some fresh, some preserved, dried, whatever. Because if you bring anything else, that's technically an insult. Not only to them for not being able to provide for the pack as a whole, but it's insulting yourselves because we will be hunting with them for the things that we eat. And that's sort of saying, I don't trust my hunting skills and I don't trust your hunting skills. But fruits and vegetable stuff you can't get there is, look what we brought. Treats!
Can confirm we have a good supply of that, so we are all set, and the hunting will provide great ingredients for the bread thingies.
And that's when Alisaie pulls out literally the monster menu. This is actually a book, guys. I bought this thing.
Yeah, I'll.
Actually, well, I can actually pull up some of the recipes that we get from there.
I'm just wondering who was the crazy one who decided that, hey, that's an aberration. Let's kill it and eat it. I mean, seriously.
Sometimes you get your meat where you can. I mean, some of these people had Rakshasa brisket.
Oh boy.
Well, I can understand.
How?
Other than the whole food that talks and thinks isn't food, I'm okay with that. It's more of the is squamish the right word? The aberration nonsense. Like, why would you ever want?
Because you don't have anything else, so you might as well make it palatable. I come, at least in part, from the waste. You eat what's there. And then she flips to a spot, looks over briefly to Flitty, who's by Hazel's plate, nomping on the various bits that Hazel passes her way. Shuts it, tucks it away.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's a line, and murmurs sort of quietly to Barnabas. Roasted fairy dragon is kind of that line.
Okay.
I'll explain later. But yeah, meantime, I'm gonna be showing this to whatever pack we hook up with, just because it varies their diet a bit more. I'm gonna be sending them an awful lot of notes between the bits I picked up about mushrooms and the down below, and this. I can really get some variety into their diet that doesn't rely on supply lines.
It also means that they're going to be able to, since the mushrooms were down below, that means they'll have a whole new ground in which to venture if they go down. They go down. They just don't necessarily know that you're careful with mushrooms. These guys are a little bit more experimental about that kind of thing. They're willing to test where, you can't risk any one of the pack. Makes me wonder if they've eaten a Nothic.
Apparently, it pulls the book back out, flip. Apparently, yes.
Kind of makes me wish we'd known about that back when we fought one, eh?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I wasn't there for that. I have no words as far as that is concerned.
I saw more of that than I really wanted to, so no.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
just looking to Frosa, Clarity, and poor Darwin in turn.
Okay, you can make soup out of a gibbering mouther.
Oh.
Okay. I'm just glad I'm not the only one who's a little sick to the stomach at the thought. I was worried for a second I was the weird one.
I mean, I understand the logic of if you've got nothing else.
You're not the weird one. You're just privileged.
Well, yeah, I'm a city boy born and bred. Well,
it's not just the city part. I mean, even the country people here, they've got more access to normal meat than we do, and if you're killing a remoraz or an ice drake or something like that, it might be nice to have more than just the liver. Waste not, want not, and you've got people to feed. And if you trip over something and there's literally nothing else, you're close to the end of your supplies, or something's destroyed your supplies. Whatever you eat, whatever you catch. And if you can't catch anything other than an aberration, why not?
I mean, look at the way the kobolds did. They anything and everything. I mean, you do what you got to do. There have been a few. I mean, yeah, not directly, but I mean, I've heard some stories. Especially sometimes on the ships, if you get turned around and supplies get low.
It flips through. If their ships have ever been attacked by harpies, probably you can do some interesting things with harpies.
I can see that.
Anyway, we've got a bit of a day tomorrow, including Darvin's first try at a teleportation circle. Ree, you're gonna have to lend him your book so he can do some copying. But
Thank you.
let's get this. Let's get ourselves on the road. We can. And it's early afternoon. I think that I can pick up my bits and pieces. So we'll chill for the morning. We'll do our last bits of shopping. We'll have lunch. We'll pick up our bits and pieces, and then we'll head straight out. That good with everybody? We have nothing else we need to do in Egref that's going to take longer than a morning.
That I'm aware of, and I'm going to take whatever drink I've got on hand and just hold it up. Let's get this show on the road then.
Thanks. I admit I'm looking really forward to showing you guys the North, however inimical it is sometimes. It's just because it's still kind of home.
It'll be nice.
You could say that like you mean it a little bit more.
It'll be nice, but it will also be cold.
Froseth and I will go out and get you Egref first, so you don't have to actually be out in it. You'll be fine.
Thank you.
It's a unique version of surprise me.
Alisaie picks up another plate of the mochis, ice cream one this time, green tea, and boom, into Hazel's face.
That stuff is fantastic.
Everything we've tried here has been great. That's the thing. Innovation cooking. What can you do?
Yeah.
A lot.
Just vibrating in place from the sheer amount of nodding.
Come on, guys. You guys have to get back to the Tipsy Pixie, and we're going to enjoy our last night in fanciness. You're muted, Ethan.
No.
You were, but whatever you were saying doesn't matter. Main reason that this is a good place to fade to black until morning is because we're at break time now. So yes, it is. Sometimes I have word things. The in-ish thing run by friendly NPCs, and generally, please don't piss them off.
Yep.
Right, we'll see you in 5 minutes for the rest of this. And we're back. Just fading to black for the next morning. Joining Remy and Alisaie at a last breakfast in Egref, for the moment anyway, before traveling begins. So, back to omelets and the egg sausage and hollandaise sauce thing. Just in general. And Alisaie's going, so right, Taylor, and are we all gonna go as a unit for this? I mean, we might as well. It saves having to come up with a meetup point later. It's not like we've got that much going on. There's basically the Taylor and Puzzled, as far as I can tell.
And the
Yep.
testing.
Yes, and the testing. I think that's for you and Clarity though, because I don't think we'll all necessarily fit. Sorry, us and you and Ava. I don't think we're all necessarily going to fit into the testing apparatus, and particularly not when other people are going to be looking at your sword and going, "Ooh." Apparently, they do that.
Can I borrow that book, Remy, while you guys are doing that? That way I can use that time to study it up a little bit.
Yes, here you go.
Thank you.
Or you could just copy them into. You have notebooks, don't you?
Yeah.
So that you each have a copy. It's good to have backups anyway.
Yeah, that was yeah. That's what I meant by study and copy, and because anyway.
I get it now. It's just sometimes you guys don't use enough words. A couple of you don't use enough words. At least when Furseth talks, the few times he talks, he uses all the words he needs to use to be understood. Well, you do.
I either use too many or not enough. It's a fine balance. I'm trying to find it.
Oh, at the very least, you guys won't have to talk very much when we get up north. The people don't much. So at least you can err on the side of nah. Right. We'll find your testing thing first, because we're probably gonna have to ask around about that. So maybe Puzzled would know if they've got weird shit. So
Worth an ask.
it's either that or go. I will bet money it's at Lane.
Probably.
We probably want to keep Barnabas away from there, just because. Wasn't that where you landed when you first got to this particular plane? Yeah, let's keep you away from there. And to be fair, the wings sort of go up. Let's keep me away from there too.
I like this plan.
Probably a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, but I imagine the people at Puzzled would probably at least know where to look or have one of those directory things you were talking about. So let's head on out. And yeah, Puzzled is like, you know, the educational toys section of just about any place. It's like that. They also have in the corner the world's most extensive Build-A-Bear. And not just bears that you can build. You can build everything from like bears to little anthropomorphic direwolves to penguins. Just that little anthropomorphic displacer beasts, that kind of thing. just anything you could think of to design, you can design there and dress them in little outfits. And of course, the puzzles of various varieties, up to and including some that are skeletal models of just about any creature you can think of that actually has one. So, again, you get to look at the skeletal structure of a displacer beast, and somebody could actually put that sort of thing together, and stuff along those lines. Just racks of weirdly, crossword puzzles, something involving numbers. Yes, they have Sudoku. Alisaie just sort of gestures Furseth into the place and like pick some things. She'll love whatever, you know. Ava, Ree, you guys probably want to ask at the front desk about that kind of thing, and we'll just browse.
Right. She looks away from the penguin build-a-bag for
When
Dawn.
Alisaie doesn't know it's for Dawn, so while Ava is sufficiently distracted, she actually has a penguin built with a little hat with ear flaps and a pom-pom on the top and a scarf striped in Vanadar house colors, and just it has that whole thing designed for her. What is everybody else doing? Just briefly, while we'll save Furseth for last because I know you'll need a few minutes to think about this. So, and Clarity's already been here, so she's sort of taking her second pass, or she's showing Hazel the place.
She's
Yeah.
taking a look at the skeletal models of monsters and stuff and saying, seems useful studies. Do you suppose it's anatomically correct, or is it just for fun?
One of the salespeople went, no, we used we used the information from our natural philosophers. Every time we get something solid, mostly they get their information either from traveling with the brass arrows or the people, or they get notes from same, and they make them properly. Yes.
I'm going to find just a weird monster and buy one.
Okay. We'll leave it random for now. Just because I don't have the monster manual within easy reach right at this precise moment. I suppose I could just look at the. Well, given you've got you want something fairly weird, so let's go for Manticore.
All right. Let's go in inventory.
Barnabas, Darvin, as I'm assuming that Hazel's trailing along in Clarity's wake.
Orbiting, if possible.
Well, it can be hard because sometimes shelves are in the way, but something like that.
Mostly browsing the puzzles, just seeing if there's anything particularly colorful or interesting.
All of them are colorful or
well, yeah,
interesting.
exactly. That's why I'm out of character. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, they have some of them. They have 3-dimensional puzzles, just in various different shapes. But there's also picture puzzles like we would get, and some of them are landscapes of various spots around the continent, and some of them are bits from Bard's Tales. There is one that features the original Quick Flight diminutive. And because the Hand of Fate is always really interesting as far as you guys are concerned, there is a shelf that has, the chibi art we have of us.
That's being snagged. That's being bought, as well as the Quick Flight. I'm also going to see if they have a there's the 3D puzzles that are the foam pieces. Do they have one of those of the Temple of Pelor here with the pyramid and all that?
It's not so much a pyramid. It's actually more skyscraper-ish. But Hand of Fate says yes, they do. Except it's not made of foam. It's actually made of something that looks like glass but bends a bit more. So you actually get the full effect of the. And this one's particularly interesting and intricate because not only is it the segments of multicolored glass, but you can also put the walls in. from the inside just to support everything else on the inside. So yes, you can get that as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and snag that just something to surprise Hazel with later for the hell of it.
Barnabas, anything in particular, or are you just wandering, going?
Just wandering, see if there's anything that catches his eye, but just browsing really.
I mean, it really is just. I mean, just looking at the pictures on the on the landscape puzzles is probably fairly interesting. Just from the point of view of this is what this world looks like, and given that you know a little bit about Twilly and Miranda, when you find you do find one that's obviously a very much younger Jenna and Twilly and Miranda and a slightly grumpy looking dwarf and a couple of gnomes and just lots and lots of shorter people dressed in clearly mercenary gear with younger Jenna just towering over them all. It's basically, if Darvin sees Barnabas looking at this, it's the same picture that's on the Wall of Fame in Belarus. And of course, Darvin is carrying around the one of you guys going, because that one does include Barnabas, by the way. The Hand of Fate roll was that good.
Oh wow!
You're muted.
So he holds it, looks around, sees Barnabas, walks over, goes, look, points to the cover, and then looks and sees what he. Oh, yeah, that's the same as the picture that they have up at the Wall of Fame. Probably saw it, or you might have seen it.
He's passed by it a few times, but whether he necessarily remembers that off the top of his head is something else.
How on earth did they get me? When was I around when we got a picture taken? Huh.
Given that it's chibis, they probably just use it's artwork. It's actually drawn, not.
Mm-hmm. All right. You know what? I think Barnabas is actually going to buy that one with Jenna and Twilly and all that.
Cool.
As a little gift for next time he's back at the when he's back there, just a little gift for welcoming him.
Okay. We'll see how Remy and Ava ask questions at the desk. I have decided.
Remy steps up to the desk. Ava.
Yeah.
Hi. Good morning.
Hello.
Our friends are looking at things to buy, but we had a bit of a separate question, more about the neighborhood.
Okay. How can we help?
We're looking for someone who tests like magic items, some things that need to be set on fire before they're sold to adventuring types.
Brings out the big yellow book.
That must be the directory that Alisaie mentioned.
You want Izat Lane is a shop called Beetles. There will be BEEDDLES Beetles. There will be smoke coming out of it. Do not let it alarm you. It's meant to do that.
Okay, good to know.
Does make sense. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And Furseth, I mean, so far you've seen, given that you've been wandering around looking, you've probably seen, given your passive perception, Darvin pick up the Cupcake Coterie puzzle, Barnabas pick up the Quick Flight Diminutives puzzle, Clarity browsing the shelves and coming away with a skeletal model of a manticore, but that's clearly for her own use. And Alisaie, probably by the time these guys leave, to turning up to Ava, hands behind her back with the wings obviously hiding the rest of it. Go, I have a thing, and produces the penguin.
Oh,
I saw you looking.
it's adorable. Thank you.
Not at all. I figured Butterscotch could use something, possibly use as a bed. I don't know. He's about the right shape. But Butterscotch just pokes head out of the bag and looks at this plush thing, and his paw pokes out. Why is it not moving? Why is it not moving? But it's soft. Actually, clambers out of the bag onto the penguin and just floop.
No.
For all it's a Toller Retriever, it does a remarkably uncanny rendition of the Corgi sploot on the penguin belly.
The advantages of being plush.
Did you make it yourself?
I told them what to do with it. Yeah,
How long did it take?
like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, mostly it was accessories, and they just had to pick the right ones, really.
Okay. Because I think Dawn would like one of these, actually.
It's right over there, by all means. I didn't realize you were looking at them for Dawn. I thought you were looking at them for you.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. You know, I mean, I'm a sucker for cute stuff as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that way we'll have matching ones. That's perfect.
Go help yourself. Okay, yes. First, you've seen all that happening.
Yeah. So basically looking for stuff for Farida, like you mentioned the Sudoku, which would probably be a good thing to grab to start, because Farida's inclination for the wizardry stuff, book writing seems a decent starting point.
There's that. There is also like crosswords, word search, which would probably be fun for her because there's a word. I don't know what this word means. I should go look it up.
Okay, grab that as well. I was also thinking like one of they'd probably have this, like those puzzles that are like 3 intertwined metal pieces. You kind of have to slowly.
Okay, that's terrifying because I was thinking that for her. So yes, they definitely have those.
So one of those as well. And maybe just for something different, like same kind of thing with those like physical puzzles you play with, but like if it was like a wooden box or something that had no obvious opening, that you've got to play around with it.
Well, what they have when there's nothing obvious like that on the shelves, but when you ask, they sort of take you to one of those offside specialty item bits, and what they show you is a collection of puzzle boxes. And it basically what you have is, you pull X thing and twist Y thing, and one section opens, and you do something different and another section opens. But the thing is that these ones apparently have something that's similar to the bag of holding idea about them, because various of the shelves, as you open, the individual ones are never bigger than the box itself. But if you put them all together into the box, they shouldn't all fit because other ones would get in the way. So there's something going on there, but it's tweaking the right bits to find out how to unlock the magic that makes this shelf come out rather than that shelf.
That sounds pretty perfect, yeah.
So, okay. Darvin's is going to be 2 gold. Barnabas's is going to be 1. Fursus is mostly books, but given that you've got fairly fancy box thing, you're looking at 3. Clarity's is another 2, because those are lots of tricky moving parts. And Ava's is 1 as well. Just just for your bit of floofer, and meet up outside, probably with Darvin, just going, look, 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 look. We're on a puzzle now.
Apparently.
And they got Barnabas too.
I mean, we're on stained glass. Some of us are on stained glass. So.
I have to go check something now. She walks back into the shop. She pulls a couple of boxes off the shelf, puts a couple of gold on the counter, walks out, and there are puzzles of the two stained glass bits.
Why am I not surprised?
She hands them to Froseth, to Farida with my compliments.
Okay.
I don't need them.
I'm sure she'll let them.
I just don't believe they exist. I have a feeling, Ree, that the reason that we got so much in the way of royalties was because it was also shit like this.
Yeah, well,
Would explain it.
we got something out of it.
That's very true. Apart from being on everybody's lips, at least until they find something new to write about, and that's probably going to be about us too at this rate. Did you guys find what you were looking for?
Yes,
I
it's
think so. Yeah.
down the street.
Was I right? Was it is that lane?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell you what. Those of us who don't want to go to Izzat Lane, you can come and keep me company while I pick up the things from the Arakocra, and anybody who wants to watch testing things get done can go with them. That's a shame. I think you would have been really interested in the Arakocra. They're really they look like really fancy tropical birds.
Yeah, but testing things.
That's true. If they tell you how the testing bit works.
You know she's going to ask.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they'll tell her.
True.
Or tell her in any sensible way. So, okay, we'll deal with Izzat Lane first, who, well, I mean, obviously, Ava, Remy, Clarity, and Hazel, because Hazel is new and interesting and also goes where Clarity goes. So,
Plus, having a healer on hand, besides the person being tested, is useful.
they have that covered. That's why they're there. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Is because I know Barnabas isn't going. Darvin did not express an interest. Froseth? No. Well, he'd probably like looking at non-human tailors anyway. So yes, you wind up on Izzat Lane, which again, weird noises, occasional sparking things, and beetles. Shop sort of somewhere in the middle of the place, which is giving off various bits of multicolored smoke.
Well, that looks like the
Remy
place.
goes up.
You walk in, and there's not a whole lot on, these shelves. It's mostly pamphlets of, electrical damage and you kind of situation. And at the you don't see anybody at the desk at first, and then little hand, gnome head.
Good morning.
Hair is it's Frankenstein hair. It's mad scientist hair. It's white and it's.
Oh god, the full Einstein kerboom.
Yep. Hello to you.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Remy Crosswind. I was hoping you could. Yeah. I was hoping you could help me with something that you also I imagine will find very interesting.
Do you wish the use of our testing chambers?
Yes.
Okay. For what now? What? It clambers up onto a stool, pulls out a fairly large leather-bound book. He goes, you see, the testing chambers, we do have pricing on them just because some of the reagents are a little bit expensive, and as much as we are interested in what this is, you will be deep discounted, but we still have to buy things. So, if you tell me what it is, what theory it is that we are trying to prove today, we will be able to best set you a price marker.
We need to test the defensive magic on my magic sword with fire, most especially, but also with a couple of other elements.
Clarity, you're intelligent. What Remy is not saying is it's fire, ice, electricity, poison, and acid, and you also need to know whether it's immunity to that entirely or whether it's just immunity to that when it comes from dragons.
So we do need to know about fire, ice. My brain is not working. Electricity, poison, acid. And whether that immunity is how far that goes, and whether it needs to come from a dragon based source or whether it's any source of magic.
I imagine that you don't have a dragon on hand, so we would have
we
found that out quickly.
No, we can actually we don't have a dragon on hand that I am aware of, but we do have the means. This is where it gets expensive. Of emulating the magics of the innate magics of certain things. Because while we do not have dragons, we have dragonborn around, and we have been able to do tests on them to be able to extrapolate. You see.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we're reasonably sure that it will definitely work. When the magic comes from dragons, it's everyone else that is in question.
Yes, but we still have to find out how far it goes when it comes from dragons, from what you were saying. So we'll have to test with dragon magic and then without dragon magic to see whether it... So dragon magic first, then not dragon magic, and that's 5 different elements. So we're looking at a 10 gold total.
Fair enough.
Okay, do you have any preferences in terms of gender presentation about who you want operating your test, and do you mind if it is a student?
No, that all sounds fine. Whoever is available and interested.
Okay. Matilda! Hofwork, aged about 17. Yeah. Oh! This is pure Belarus accent. Oh, hey, wow! I remember you. Your parents made those cheese bun things.
Yep.
Cool. Yes, we want the draconic spectrum, and then those same elements on the non-draconic spectrum. You can do this, yes? Yeah, of course. Testing room 3. Come with me. And off they stomp, and basically a lot of this building seems to be corridor and an elevator, and there's always there seems to be these rooms. It's like, okay, so we're dealing with fire, and okay, so testing room 3 will be fine, and it stops short of the elevator, pushes a door open. Next to each of these doors, there's crystals and levers and things. And if you want to step inside.
Mary steps inside and then does her anime armor transformation.
Yeah, we were gonna. Everybody outside can see looking. Okay, we might want to do the electricity and the acid without the armor first. just so we see whether whatever immunity the sword grants you is enhanced by the thing, or whether it cancels out or something else happens. So, without the armor first, please. Also, that was really cool.
Oh dear God, you started
Okay.
tokusatsu in Egref.
Okay, she does it then.
Yeah, once the armor comes up, it's be a nudge. Okay, we're gonna start with acid. Test 1, draconic. No extra armor. And sword is out, I take it.
Yep, sword is out, and she thinks about acid.
Yeah, you do take 2 points of acid damage, which is basically there's a feeling of acid mist, and then there's a cooling mist that heals that 2 points of damage pretty much immediately, so you don't have to note it down. I'm just telling you because that is what I do, and I like to keep in the habit of declaring damage even if it's healed immediately. So the 2 points of damage, and it's like, okay, so that was that was the acid resistance. We're going to move to poison resistance next. I'm assuming thinks of poison, because remember that takes 6 seconds. Okay, that looks like it's set. Beep. 2 points of poison damage missed, and that's healed up. Okay. Electricity damage next. 2 points of electricity damage healed. Ice damage. 2 points of ice damage healed. Fire damage. It is actually a bit of whoosh and missed.
With the fire, we're gonna need to do that second time because I need to see how it works also with the shield.
No, that's acid.
Oh, I thought you said you just did fire. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
no, because remember they went through the entire draconic spectrum without the armor first. The armor gives you resistance to electricity. The shield gives you resistance to acid.
Oh, okay.
So they basically ran the whole thing without the armor and the shield, and then is going to run run a non-draconic spectrum, and then is going to do those last 2, because apparently when you have the armor on, they can read what resistances are available, but they don't necessarily know the extent of the resistances.
Okay.
So, okay, we're going to move to the non-draconic spectrum. Once again, we're starting with acid. 4 points of acid damage healed. Okay, yeah, that looks like it probably needs to be draconic, but we'll run the series anyway. 4 points of poison damage healed, 4 points of electric damage healed, 4 points of ice damage healed. So the damage has to be of draconic origin to get the benefits of the resistances from the sword. Okay, so that means we're gonna have to run the draconic and the non-draconic spectrum just to make sure that they with the armor on, just to make sure that there's not a cross issue. If you could put the armor back on, please.
Yep.
Also, that is still incredibly cool. Hey,
Yes,
we are
it is.
moving to acid. Draconic spectrum. 1 point of acid damage. And healed. Poison, electricity now, sorry. Beep, 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 beep. 1 point of electricity damage. Healed. Okay, we're gonna try the non-draconic series. 2 points of acid damage, 2 points of... So apparently they do stack. So electricity and acid, you will take quarter damage when armor and shield are in play, but only when you're against only when it's a dragon doing it.
Okay.
Again, that was a Hand of Fate roll, and that got an 18. So the Hand of Fate loves you. What can I say? And opens the door back up and ushers you out. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be that's definitely going into my thesis paper.
No, that's
Back,
good to
back,
hear.
Waves bounce back into the back room. Okay. So did you get everything you needed from
Yes.
Okay, and I'm assuming you paid up. So,
Mhm.
was there anything else we could help you with today?
I had a. So I'm very comfortable with fire, and since we may face enemies as an that deal with the in fire that main weapon, I would like to see if I can sort of less of an issue.
Okay, that's probably not us, but I do know of somebody who can help you with this. He is more of is less of an exposure, because if we start exposing you, even though we can kill you, it is still going to be painful, problematic, and you're probably going to be useless for the rest of the day, and we probably don't want that. So what we want is something that is going to calm you down to decreasing degrees as you become better at handling the things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer you to my colleague 3 doors down and on the opposite side of the road.
Okay.
Her name is Fern. The store very much lives up to the name of the owner. You cannot miss it. And if you explain the situation to her, she should be able to help you.
Okay. Well, I'll try that then. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
And there's, and 3 doors down and across there is. You can just about see a door in and among, but everything those environmentally friendly sort of oxygen generating buildings that are like entirely plant all up the thing. That.
Mhm.
So basically, you have this ivy wall. There are actually some pretty flowers in bits.
Not.
As well, you don't actually have to knock. It's still a shop front, and what you have is another gnome. A little hard to spot initially because mostly you just hear a little piping voice, "Hello to you," and ferns sort of down towards the ground depart, and you wind up with very bright red-haired offling bun that's kind of falling apart in various bits, a smudge of dirt on the face, grubby hands. This is somebody who grows things, but it's also wearing an apron that seems to be leather, and he's stained with some really interesting stains. This is I had a mosquito. Mosquitoes must die. This is one of Egref's version of alchemists. Apparently, she grows her own bits and pieces. Hello to you. How can I help?
Hi. I was pointed in your direction by that beetle. I'm not very good with fire. As an adventuring party, we kinds of enemies start using. So.
Oh, so you have the phobia.
I
You don't know what
Yes,
that word
say
you
that.
don't know what that word means.
Sorry. What
Is a debilitating fear that you cannot easily push away.
Well, yes, I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with this. If you will excuse me for just one moment, and it disappears into the ferns, and they start rustling, and somewhere around there, what you took for sort of a display of like toadstools and moss actually turns out to be a desk, literally just made out of a log with things growing on them. Pwit! And up she comes again. Okay then, what is your favorite flavor?
Oh no.
Strawberry, probably.
That is an easy one. Thank you very much. Punk, and disappears. What are Clarity and Hazel doing in this shop that looks kind of like a forest, like Inside Out?
Just kind of marveling at all of it, and not sure if I should sniff any of the flowering things.
As you're looking at that piping from the back room, everything that is in the main in the main display area is safe to be smelling and touching. I am not a complete idiot.
Thank you.
Some of these you have never smelled before, but they're all actually really nice.
And the shrooms, I have to just go, just squidgy.
Thankfully, she has not put out any that do interesting spores, so mostly you just get squish, 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 squish. The one you've got actually feels a bit like one of those stress balls, you know? So it's squish, 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 squish.
That looks fun. Squish, squish, squish.
And eventually, from over the log, point and little glass bottle full of strawberry pink pills. Neat. This is sort of a combination of, well, it's sort of on the borderline between the calm emotion spell and a good stiff drink. What it does is it evaluates the amount of fear you are having and at least let you function past it. And the less of the fear that you have, the less it actually operates until it is finally just strawberry candies.
Okay, that sounds.
When you encounter the pyre, and if you cannot do the thing, only if you cannot do the thing, you take one and you crunch it all up and you eat it. It should not take very long, 6 seconds at most, and that should deal with the issue for a little time anyway. I try not to make long-lasting bits and pieces, but it is a helper to balance out what is happening in your brain, rather than just making it all go away. I don't find that just making the fear go away is particularly healthy because you have to deal with the underlying issues. So this allows you to be exposed to it, but not completely paralyzed by it.
Okay, that sounds good. Is there any things I should know? Like, don't take them until keep a certain amount of time between them.
You should probably not take more than one per day,
Okay.
but they will last for about an hour, so you should be okay.
Okay.
Is 2 gold for the bottle, and there is a 30 pill supply if you need any more. Hopefully you will not be in such a situation where you will need any more. But if by some chance you do, if the phobia is very strongly inset, then you come back. And we discuss it then.
Okay. Hand over the gold. Did you guys need anything?
Well, Fern sees Clarity just still squishing the mushroom. Actually picks the mushroom and... He's an extra. It will stay squishy like that for about a week, and then you should probably eat it. It tastes like marshmallow.
Ooh.
I make flavor mushrooms.
Wait.
Oh no!
Does the hazel half elf have questions?
I'm sure she
Many,
does.
many questions.
Can you narrow them down to maybe 5?
Are you in any way responsible for? And I'm pulling out like one of the Pop-Tart boxes, just one of the marshmallow related flavors.
No, those are actually marshmallows.
Okay. Do you have any way of making something taste like a blueberry pie?
I don't think I have made that experiment, but if you come back in about 2 weeks, I should probably have something along that line.
Not completely sure where we're going to be in 2 weeks, just because we're headed up north.
Well, we'll work on it anyway. It's an interesting experiment. I do have a flavor list.
Ooh, yes, this I need to see.
It's actually written. It's actually been burned into wood, but there's sweet on one side, and that's largely fruit flavors. But there is things like peanut butter. They have apple pie, not blueberry pie, which is why she's given like 2 weeks. Things along those lines. Chocolate in there somewhere, and on the other side is more vegetable, savory, herbal kinds of things, and sort of around the bottom is names that Hazel vaguely recognizes as spicy peppers, usually mixed with something. So you've got the beef and bacon, and
You don't happen to do packages of bit of all of this, do you?
I do sample packs, yes.
I need one. I need several.
One or several, because I need to get them from out the back.
Let's make it,
I think
3
that seems about right.
sample packs of the lot.
It comes out with 3 basket kind of things. They've actually been not so much exactly gift wrapped, but the basket seemed to have grown from twigs, and instead of a bow on each of the handles, there's a flower on each of them, and inside are these little leaf wrapped packages, each with a little sort of extra, very pale leaf on the side that seems to have the flavor of each written on them. It's kind of like an Easter basket, but grown.
What the hell? That's great.
I did. Please don't do that. I did an advanced degree from the academy in the horticultural sciences.
You're amazing.
This is 9 gold total.
I'm immediately handing that over.
Thank you very much. I hope that your pyrophobia is dealt with in a swift and calming fashion, and that your adventures are fruitful. And looks at Clarity. Did you have any questions? Because you are looking all about the place.
Not really, but
Are you feeling
want to
all
pick a
right,
card?
Clarity?
I've got a deck of cards and I'm fanning them out.
Takes a card.
Look at the card. Don't tell me what it is. and then stick it into the middle of the deck.
Swoop. Okay, this is where you make me a sleight of hand check.
Let's see. Hold on. That is a 21.
Okay. So yeah, she stuck the card back in the deck, and you can pull off the trick without a hitch. So yes, that is my card. Very clever.
Thank you.
And then reaches and pulls out a flower that's a bit darker than the blue of your hair, so it'll stand out. And that one does actually smell like blueberries. So she just sort of tucks it behind your ear. Surprise.
Adorable.
Oh, thank you. This was a lovely visit.
I hope to see you again sometime.
Hi.
Yes. The meantime, much more abbreviated for the rest of you. Furseth, Barnabas, and Darvin join Alisaie in Taylor's shop, where the rather. To be fair, this is all the guys now, so you guys haven't met the bossy halfling from Quarterly Ends, but you have now. And it took much innovation to make sure that your bosom would not be all smushed, but properly supported all the same. But I did this. I have such documentation. I am taking this to the textiles portion of the academy, and oh hello, there's men folks. I don't normally see men folks in the workplace. Hello. Some men folks, but usually they want their bosoms to be all smushed. But safely smushed. Because they don't want them to be seen, but they also don't want to just remove them. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, what you have is bewildered. I mean, Barnabas is the only person who actually knows what Arakocra look like, and these are some of the ones that had the worst problems in the Southern Lands, just because they look like rainbow lorikeets, basically. So a lot of green, a lot of blue with yellows and reds, and just we have made the and you paid in advance. That was very kind of you. I figured you were probably going to need to order some materials and things, so why not? And well, in any case, we have made the shirts and the couple of dresses. Your bosom shall be properly supported and not all smushed. Thank you. Oh, you thought it was the most concerned. Well, yeah, and I'm actually really glad you were on board with this. So, thanks. Really, thank you. And it just shows off, and they have some fascinating fastenings. Some of them just sort of clip top and bottom, but it looks like she can sort of put arms in, throw them on, and not have to reach too far. They sort of fasten themselves, sort of magic magnet kind of things. But there's a couple of the fancier bits, and one of the dresses that has a more almost a corsetry design, so Remy's probably going to have to lace her up in the back for those. But there's a fair few plain shirts, but a couple of fancier bits and pieces that more fit Alisaie's general aesthetic, and some that are literally just they choke her at the neck and tie around the waist, but entirely sparse in the back. And the Arakocra was like, I'm just glad you told us that we didn't have to worry about the cold or anything like that. Yeah, that's the one good thing about being me. I don't have to worry about trying to fit these things under a cloak. But thank you. You were worth every copper. Seriously. And I'll be back. I think you're about the only people I know about who design these kinds of things. Darvin, did you have any questions for these people?
Actually, yeah. And I'm and I come from some members of my family were tailors, so the actual craftspersonship of this is fascinating, and he just kind of wanders off a little bit to the Aarakocra, just talking about seams and fastenings and such.
It's not just the Aarakocra,
Right.
the halflings.
Oh, yes, as well.
Multidisciplinary group.
Yes.
And the lady from Coeur d'Alliance is very, very proud and shows the various bits and pieces where she managed to fasten the bits that are the actual support of a brassiere with while still letting the rest of the shirt fall the way it's supposed to. And she's most of that isn't even magic. She's just done some fascinating things with the seams.
Yeah, which is really I'm like, Darwin's like, oh, would you mind terribly? I haven't spoken to him in a while, but would you mind terribly if I mention some of this to some family members?
Well, you can mention it, but this is currently something of a proprietorial thing.
Understood. I won't. I will let them know that that fascinating things are being done, and that he should look into it.
That would be good, because we would not mind another voice in the multidisciplinary bits. There's a young Aarakocra who actually approaches Furseth and goes, "Hello.
Hello.
We do not only do things with tails, with wings. We do tails too sometimes."
Oh yeah.
Yes, I will show you the rack of things in progress, because we have more dragonborn than we do humanish ladies with wings.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, while Darvin is eating various other people's time, younger Aarakocra, clearly the child of the other two, is showing Barnabas and Furseth the various designs they have for individuals with dragonborn tails, and because we'd have to do some alterations for yours, because your legs are a little bit different than satyr legs, but some of the satyrs we know do actually wear trousers sometimes. Is sometimes rare. Satyrs are like that sometimes. But we've made these designs. We'd have to make some different adjustments for the tails. But just saying that I know that it is very hard for some people to buy off the rack, so if you ever need things, we are here.
DM?
I'll be
DM,
back.
thank you for
I will.
this.
I have this mental image of just a cockatoo with the full, just going up as talking happens.
Lorikeets don't have but I'll show you after the session. But yeah, or if you have a second, just look up Rainbow Lorikeet.
Oh no.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm gonna say that you meet up at the. Actually, because Alisaie said she was gonna suggest this, is basically you guys are going to end up at a burrito bar.
Nice.
Kind of spot for lunch. So it's things wrapped in the really flat breads. Varying levels of spicy depending on what everybody fancies. Alisaie, of course, is going pretty strongly spicy, because Alisaie be like that. And Barnabas can get big burrito. One of those ones that you have to put like 3 tortillas together just to wrap it all in, just because he can actually handle something that size.
The best kind of burrito.
Yeah. Since we're going up north, Alisaie, what do you think? I was gonna start maybe like in terms of spicy mid-range and maybe ramp up a little bit from there, just to start getting used to things, because I remember what you said.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're pretty au fait with burn lichen by this point, so you could. I mean, don't get this yet, but next step down from this, because they have a similar the Inferno Red Dragon Fire Plane kind of spice level thing.
I adore you. So yeah. Then I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I mean, by this time everybody is back together, and I'm gonna say Alisaie actually got into one of her newer shirts, which is largely off the shoulder, mostly held just above the wings in the back, just a string kind of thing, and laced up a little bit under where the wings fasten, which is, it actually accommodates her wings, and as the lady from Coeur d'Alene said, proper support, no smush. And, in her slightly flowing sleeves up to a little past the elbow, and in her favorite bright red.
Mhm.
So how'd the testing go, guys?
Pretty good.
I have things producing the one of the baskets.
Okay. Is this for me?
Well, we're definitely gonna all have use of it. So,
Well, to be fair,
They're
she would have explained those come in kind of bite-sized chunks. So it's more of a because they're not that big baskets. You don't get the
Yeah.
whole mushroom. It's sort of like a couple of pieces, so somebody could share them. So I kind of assumed you were getting one for you, one for Clarity, and one for somebody else.
Oh yeah, that's sort of yeah. If that's the case, then I'm gonna go with that version because I was thinking they were more of like They were more of a
Well, they
food
are,
additive.
but no, they're chunks of mushroom.
Yeah.
They're bite-sized chunks of mushroom, like the actual bits from the mushroom that like the one that Clarity has.
Got it.
They're just in different flavors. So she's broken off a couple 3 pieces of each and put them in the little leaf
Gotcha.
wrapping.
So I'm
So
just
yeah,
full on handing that over. Those are all kinds of flavors.
what are they?
Mushrooms.
Well, bits of mushroom from the field.
Yeah.
I
Just a whole gamut. I think each one is labeled with a uniquely grown leaf, but
Yeah, I can see that. I just was trying to figure out how you got a chocolate flavored mushroom, but I'm sure the answer would terrify me. Incidentally, I'm also going to say that while you guys were traveling, Alisaie broke down and spent a significant amount of coin on a bag of holding of her own, because she's actually starting to own enough things that she needs the space now, and she doesn't want to prevail on you guys, particularly not when Hazel is filling hers with crates of tortillas. I'll leave that in there for now. I don't want to spoil my my lunch, and then it just sort of spreads hands and wings a little involuntarily, just to show Remy this is one of them. What do you think?
That's good.
It's one of the simpler ones, but Darvin, I thought Darvin was gonna have us there all day.
Sorry.
No. It was fascinating to see, and one of the, and that younger Arakokra, the kid, was talking to Froseth and Barnabas the entire time, because apparently they don't just do wings.
Oh.
Large collection of people with tails.
And apparently legs like yours.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
You were focused so much on the wing bits, you missed that, Darvin.
Ah, well. I am coming back.
I think everybody's gonna wind up coming back here at some point or another. Yeah, well, even if we wind up settling in Belarus at the end of the day, I imagine day trips, because we can do day trips. It's not that far.
That would be nice.
Thoughts for later. For the time being, it's stuff burritos into our face and head in a tipsy pixie direction. Unless anyone had any very last minute things.
Nope.
Before I forget,
Nope.
I've been meaning to do it for ages. An opportune moment. Yeah. 30 platinum I owed. Almost.
Thank you. It sticks that back in her bag of holding as well.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. It probably best not to do it in the middle of a crowded restaurant, but hey, it's better than nothing.
It was in a bag.
I know, but still. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's good. We're cool. We're all cool. And without further ado, Darwin leads the way to the Conundrum Pavilion, and sketches out his runes. It takes a minute because this is kind of new to him, and as it turns out, the teleportation circles, because they couldn't do them in the in the brass arrow section for those who aren't any, actually winds up in what appears to be the basement of the Tipsy Pixie. I knew this was. I know we weren't allowed to go in this room. Now I see why.
And Darwin's just like, you gotta be shitting me. Oh my god, the odds. I love it. Ah.
Well, you know, Emil is probably one of the more worldly individuals who's not an adventurer around here, so let's get a move on. And up a flight of stairs, and this time Alisaie is the one leading the way and just opens the door onto. Unfortunately, this is the break room for the young ladies as well. Thankfully, nobody's in a particular state of undress, but what you have is ladies and gentlemen in minimal-ish clothing.
Oh,
sitting around
hi.
with glasses of juice and snack bits, and look up and go. They're not paying any attention to you guys at first because most of what you get is, Alisaie, what the hell? And she just struggles for a second. Wedding present. What the hell?
Yeah, she got married and this happened.
In that order, in point to fight. Okay, we're gonna go get a meal. This is a thing. Yeah, this is so much a thing. Hello. Oh, you brought new ones. Hello.
Hello.
I
Turns around to Barnabas and Cloudy. Welcome to the Tipsy Pixie. One of them kind of slipped out, and then Emil comes in. Think an older, slightly less fabulous Gilmore. Darkish skin, darkish hair, slightly flashy robes, but I see why they didn't tell me why they were looking so flabbergasted. Alisaie, welcome back, but I am not sure whether to ask whether you are alright, or ask if you could do this, why you didn't do this while you were still working here. You would have made a fortune. I already made a fortune, you ass. And it just does this forearm clasp kind of. Hey, yeah, we are gonna need a room for tonight, but mostly this was just me. Well, we need to speak to Lisa again, and don't worry, I'm actually gonna lead that conversation this time. And, now that I know a bit more of what the score is, but also to celebrate the fact that, I got married. Gestures in Remy's direction, it's like, looks at Remy. Oh god. Your mother, Corey, yes?
I'm really glad she told me that from recently. We can just leave it at that.
No.
So I'm taking it as yes. Send her my regards, because I was actually working here as staff when my father ran the place. So yeah, we chatted. It was a thing. She actually married that That
Yep.
fighter type. That's twice now. What is it with you crest twins? No, that name was familiar.
I think the only word here is yoink.
And Alisaie is like, look at her. She's a snack. There is that. Yes, okay. We can see to rooms. Who is individual? Who is sharing? What's going on with this? It's on the house. Call it a wedding present. Well, obviously, I gathered that.
Me and her. She's pointing to Hazel. We're sharing a room.
I guess
So I am not sending Kezia your regards.
Yes, you are. I have a few complicated things to juggle, but definitely need to say hi.
Well, she's currently working the bar, so there you go. And are any of you it gestures in a Darvin Ava kind of direction? You two? Oh, come on! Really? You two have been flirting for like months.
What?
I mean, I flirt a lot anyway, but okay. No.
He was like,
I'm like
Alisaie is
confused.
the reason, and Alisaie is like, the reason he doesn't flirt with me or Ree is because he's scared shitless of both of us.
Just vigorous nodding.
Okay, so we're getting your room, and you're going to be looking at the selection. I take it. Fair enough, and yourself. And Alisaie speaks up at that point. We are getting Ava the discussion and flirtation sampler pack. Okay. Do you have any particular options? Okay, we're going for Martin, Corin, Jasmine, Yvonne, and Lawrence. Okay, we will book the corner table then. Alisaie turns around to Ava and just goes, there's no pressure at this point. You just chat and see what, if anything, you fancy. They will flirt with you. Basically, they are going to flag up why you are absolutely wonderful. And then looks at you gentlemen. And he actually looks at first. Let me guess. Room to yourself, no sharing.
Yeah, pretty much.
That looks at Barnabas. You are unknown quantity. What of you? And he really needs to meet Marta. At least meet Marta.
Thank you, Alisaie. I was going to suggest it too.
Trust her on this.
Room that is shareable, which is fine because your size anyway. And we will introduce you to Marta. She is one of our massage experts. So is no pressure for anything like that, but you can ask for massage or massage plus. He has had both. But he is going to be window shopping and seeing today. So well, I'll arrange the rooms for you. You can speak to everybody about dinners, that sort of thing, and we'll arrange for a break from your various bits of fun. So that this one can speak to Constance if you need to speak to this Constance. I guess I can call her that here. Everybody knows. We've been keeping an eye on her. trying to make sure that she is not completely scarred by the fright this one, looking at Ava, gave her when she snuck into the back and had slightly badly planned words. Is okay, you must run with these ones for a reason, and I swear the only reason that they yoinked our Alisaie here is because most of you don't seem to know how or when to use your words. She always knows how to use her words. I'm good with my mouth. What can I say?
Darwin just doubles over in laughter.
The room just burst out laughing, 'cause, obviously, and the one individual with bright rainbow streaks in her hair is just going, we're going to have something of a, I mean, we should have been taking you out for, no, you should not have been taking me out for pre-wedding drinks. I had this conversation with this bunch, but we can have a post-wedding celebration now that the solemnity bits are done with. So and we can't play you with drinks either. No, you can't play with drinks. You know what I'm like about that. Okay, fine. So what can we do? Well, if Ree doesn't mind blushing herself stupid again, I can tell you the myriad of reasons why marriage to her has already made me the happiest being on earth. Believe me, there's reasons that there's more reasons than one that I had been really hoping that she was gonna want to meet me when she turned up, and she really got you these as a wedding present. That's a story I'm gonna let her tell, because she's been kind of telling the tales lately, and I really want I want to show her off. And on that note, because we're at about that time, we'll call it for the evening. And when we meet again in 2 weeks' time, brief conversation with Constance Langerhan, see what y'all want to do about Marta window shopping, sampler pack, conversations with Kizzy, and then move on to actually meeting the individuals up north. And I'm looking so forward to that. You have no idea. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.